Good morning. This is KELOLAND On the Go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
We have an update on the wildfire burning in southwestern South Dakota. The Bennett fire has burned about 367 acres in the Black Hills National Forest in Fall River County. Officials say it's now 10% contained since the fire started last Thursday from a lightning strike.
Air tankers and aerial support are used to help firefighters on the ground. Smoke may be visible from Highway 89 and 18.
One man is dead following a Saturday morning motorcycle crash in Huron. According to the Department of Public Safety, around 3:30 a.m., a 31-year-old man was driving a motorcycle north of West Park Avenue when he left the road and went into the ditch.
The man was thrown off his bike, which caught fire. Officials say nobody else was involved.
We have an update on the new state men's prison construction project in Lincoln County. The Harrisburg City Council will vote on Tuesday to determine whether or not they'll allow the state to tie into the wastewater treatment facility for the proposed prison. According to the City Council agenda, they'll discuss whether or not to tie into the city's sewer system in exchange for compensation.
If the vote succeeds, Harrisburg residents would see monthly savings on their water bill. According to the Bureau of Financial and Management, the most recent estimated cost for construction of the men's prison was more than $700 million. Construction isn't expected to finish until 2028.
New street and lane closures will impact drivers in Sioux Falls starting today. The northbound left turn lane on East Bonson Avenue will be closed at 10th Street for traffic signal improvements. Northbound traffic on Bonson will be allowed to turn right onto 10th Street, and the work should be finished within a week.
And the outside southbound lane on North Minnesota Avenue will be closed north of West Blackhawk Street for work related to Xcel Energy. The project should be finished in 1 week. Drivers need to reduce their speeds in these construction areas and consider taking an alternate route. Now let's get a check on our forecast with meteorologist Scott Munt. Are we going to see a warm work week, Scott?
Well, that we are. You know, temperatures in the 80s for a lot of us as we do go through this week. It will be a little cooler tomorrow. Temperatures probably in the 70s across eastern KELOLAND. Thicker cloud cover. We'll watch for a chance for rain in eastern and southeastern KELOLAND for tomorrow. In the meantime, dry, except for western South Dakota with developing thunderstorms this afternoon. Temperatures will reach the 80s today in many locations. Brian will have more details on your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. A South Dakota nonprofit is doing its part to help people grieve the loss of their loved ones. Healing Hope held a walk to remember in Alexandria Sunday to honor the lives of 129 children from throughout the area that were lost too soon.
The nonprofit partnered with the family of Ashley Moe, who lost Ashley at the age of 20 in 2019. The event gives everyone a chance to help each other heal.
Just want to be here for those other people that are grieving, because there's really no right or wrong way to grieve, and most of the time it's not really what people are saying. It's more of just being there for them, just making sure that they know somebody cares and they're not alone.
Healing Hope will be hosting a retreat for mothers who have lost a child next month. For more information, you can visit the story on KELOLAND.com.
Boston's is back in town. Boston's Pizza and Sports Bar opened last week in Sioux Falls near the Denny Sanford Premier Center.
The new Boston's has the NFL ticket and 50 HD TVs just in time for the start of football season.
It's the perfect pregame place to come and eat and have a beer or have some snacks and food, or after the game or after the concert. It's just perfect.
Boston's previous location on East 10th Street closed in 2011. The new location is open 7 days a week, and that includes offering breakfast until 11 a.m. daily.
The Central States Fair is underway in Rapid City and will include a B-1B Lancer flyover. Ellsworth Air Force Base's 28th Bomb Wing will conduct the flyover during tonight's Range Days Rodeo for Military Appreciation Night at the fairgrounds.
The flyover is scheduled for 7:10 p.m. Mountain Time, weather permitting. People living nearby can expect an increase in noise due to the flyover.
And that's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather picture here as we head toward tonight. Could see some rain at Rapid City. Of course, you know, we're coming off of such a dry summer. Rapid City Airport, one of the driest on record. So we've had this concoction of ingredients for fire weather concerns. We just addressed that. And then, of course, now new thunderstorm chances scattered in the Black Hills tonight. You'll see overnight, too, past midnight, some of that rain will probably reach out toward Pierre, Chamberlain. We had some thunderstorms in this general vicinity over the weekend, so some of these same locations could get a repeat there. How about Sioux Falls tomorrow? Well, it's around a 20 to 30% chance of rain. I think the most likely scenario is that this will probably march eastward during the course of the day. The clouds will likely keep temperatures down into the 70s, just given the timeline on all of that. Today, though, we're mainly in the 80s. We've got a stronger south-southeast wind jetting into Pierre and Phillip and south-central South Dakota. And that moisture fetch will eventually feed these thunderstorms that develop across the Black Hills. There's an example of that. Easily could see a few of those items in the western part of South Dakota this evening. And then during the overnight, some of this will hang together toward Pierre. It'll be after midnight for the most part. And then, yeah, watch that radar trend tomorrow morning. See if those cells on radar, how much of that activity marches towards Sioux Falls. I think there's definitely a fair chance that some of it will, but the vast majority will tend to weaken. That'll just be your general trend as this marches east during the course of the day. So if you're west of Sioux Falls, keep an eye, especially toward the James Valley, for some repeated thunderstorms. How about the next chance of rain? Well, let's regroup. You can see the effect there on the European model. Kind of the same trend there, isn't it? Has a lot of yellow and green there in the middle of South Dakota tomorrow. Just not as much towards Sioux Falls. But then into Thursday and Friday, if the current projections hold, we'll get a little better chance that a few things will try to move a little farther east. And by the way, that comes in line because as we get beyond that into the weekend, we're forecasting this heat ridge to bump up and move. So that naturally makes sense there. If we're going to move the heat, we've got to move the rain chance with it. So see what ends up happening is day 6 and day 7, we're going to presume a bump in the humidity and a bump on those temperatures. We could be hitting some 90s. That's the most likely scenario, so keep an eye on the extended forecast. Aberdeen also, we may nudge those numbers upward a little bit if that heat ridge comes in a little faster. Meanwhile, the chance of rain is there both tomorrow and again on Thursday, possibly extending into Friday. Central KELOLAND, your picture is a little different. You got chances of rain for Tuesday and also that chance of rain coming in here at the end of the week. Look at Saturday, though, 97. So we're starting to push that hotter weather. Rapid City, too, could see 90s this week. In fact, Wednesday's high into the mid and upper 90s. Check out more details. They're online at KELOLAND.com.